Welcome, welcome.
One day.
My man Timmy Otto wants to debate me. And we're doing it live here on the Patreon. And for all those here on One Crack News. You heard? Now, he felt that he never got his words across to me and they never reached me. So he left this message. So you guys get to hear it live. Because on the Patreon, you guys going to hear some real over here. So I decided to bring the real directly to you. What's up, Rainier Jordan? This is for all my Patreons. Every single last one of you. It's on. You hear me? It is on. Now, everybody know me from YouTube, granted, and thank you. And I made a lot of things available for people. I opened people's eyes to a lot of different things, and that's all I wanted to do. When I first came on here, I didn't say, ooh, I'm going to make a trending topic off this. This is going to trend. No, I came in here talking about boxing and telling people this is BS. This is what's real. Because in this business, 90% of what goes on in here is BS and marketing. And a lot of people don't want that. They don't want that. It's like, man, I don't need the BS around me. You don't want to be fed lies. You want that real. So the first people who get to see this whole debate thing play out is my Patreon. Word to Big Bird.
Part of your statement there, really.
Let's go.
As far as your opinion on Colin Kaepernick was when you made the statement about you don't agree with what he did because you feel like he should have did it off the clock.
Y'all hear him?
He should have protested on his own time. He should have protested off the clock. He's on company's time. He should have protested in his own time. One thing about it, brother, whether you're getting paid for your time or not, your time is always your time.
That's not
Don't
true.
forget that.
Okay.
I saw where you was going with it. I saw where you were trying to go with it. And like I said, I'm trying not to put you in the Stephen A category. I'm trying my best not to. And I know you don't get shit. You're not supposed to. But this is YouTube. It's the land of opinions, baby. So here it is. I'm calling you out on your bullshit, bro. What you mean he was on company time? Dude, you clearly you don't hear how you sound. You're clearly not listening to yourself. You're not criticizing yourself when you speak.
Why would I criticize myself when I speak?
That makes sense if you're speaking in the defense of the company.
Not in
But
defense of
either
anybody.
way it goes, you can't say he was wrong because the issue that he spoke up for, whether he was being disingenuous or not, the shit was real, the shit was needed, and the shit seems to be impeccable because it's been a topic for quite some time now. Wonder why that is. He should have protested on his own time. Let's deal with what's wrong with that statement. Let's deal with what's wrong with that action.
Okay.
Someone protest on their own time.
All right.
Not too long ago, and by the way, I'm in Alabama, in the deep South.
Deep
The
South.
heart of the Dixie. Once upon a time, in this area, which I inhabit, Black people or people of color were subject to draconian style laws, and even worse.
Okay.
Meaning things like having to get food from the back door of a restaurant. Through the dog door. Sorry about that quick pause. Like I was saying, Black people had to do things like get their food from back doors and side porches, had to eat outside, drink from colored-only fountains, use colored-only bathrooms. All kind of ignorant shit. Until one day, an elite group of people of color or Black people decided that they was tired of this shit. And it had reached its mark.
Okay.
And they decided that they were going to fight that shit through protests. Okay?
Keep going.
A couple of particular protests were boycotts. Montgomery bus boycott. Everybody heard about that. Crocker's even put it in the books. Let you read about it. That's going to stop pretty soon, especially since this subject that we're talking about right now, that is going to be in the workings of putting a stop to. Bus boycotts, and probably one of the most impactful, or the second most impactful, because that bus boycott shit really hurt the bus system when they did. It really hurt. They ended up shutting down. They ended up putting my business. You know what I'm saying? But the sit-ins, though, the impactfulness of the sit-ins was a little bit more obvious. And the thing that really made them work is the fact that they did it while motherfuckers was on the clock. Now, whoever watching this video, pretty smart. You're smart enough, brother.
All right.
Ask yourself, how impactful would the sit-ins have been? And for those of you who are not familiar with the sit-ins, that's when back in the day in the 50s and 60s, wasn't too long ago, when they had seats in restaurants, colors here, whites here, and the Black folks shit was run down, barely usable, inhumane, and gotta pay a black tax on top of that. You gotta pay extra just because you coming into a motherfucking establishment with black skin. Now you think you're gonna talk to me any kind of way. Sit me where you think I need to be sat. and charge me extra. That's too much fuckery. So that's why they started the sit-ins. Let's see what the fuck I want to. You understand me? If you want this dollar, you gonna let me see what the fuck I want to. Forgive me for getting sidetracked. So I ask again, how impactful do you think the sit-ins would have been had these motherfuckers did it off while the store was closed? Off company time.
That's not what I'm saying.
What you need to realize, brother, that's the purpose of a protest, to make the opposition or offenders feel socially uncomfortable. You don't operate within a motherfucker's comfort zone and call it a protest. That shit ain't gonna do nothing but annoy you at best, if you notice. Bottom line, you ain't gonna take this shit serious. Cause she ain't no threats. There ain't no threat in a peaceful protest. You get what I'm saying?
I don't get what you're saying.
Ain't no threat in a peaceful protest. Mark my words. Pretty soon, the NFL is gonna invite that shit. Long as these niggas still kneeling and staying quiet and running that ball, selling them tickets. I don't give a fuck. Motherfucker sit on his ass during the national. That's the conclusion they're gonna come to. Because they know that black people as a whole, not gonna stick together and get no shit done like we used to. Like the sit-ins and the diners in the 50s and 40s. Like the bus boycotts. They know we not no glued together unit like that. They don't catch on. And up dancing black people are not gonna help that situation either. We'll make it work. I'm pretty sure back then there was some black people saying to them folks while they was doing them sit-ins and the bus boycott, I'm still gonna ride the bus. All white folks ain't bad. Look at this nigga here. He think he better than somebody. And of course, them niggas was around back then because that's the only way the motherfuckers here now. The goofy coon ass, the Stephen A. Smiths, the Charles Barkleys, the Sheriff Clarks, they had daddies too. They had mammies too that were coons. Like I said, brother, I ain't gonna draw this out. I just think that's suspect. Because like I said, I know you're smart. I know you're a smart brother. And I think that's real disingenuous of you to have that take on this situation as far as Colin Kaepernick talking about company time. For real? He was on company time, nigga?
Yes.
So was the motherfuckers on the Montgomery bus boycott. They was on the bus company's time.
Yes. Let's stop. Let's stop right here. Let's stop here so I can start addressing all of these things because he drawing this out. I want to hear him out completely. But let's stop here because, oh God, if you know how somebody take your words out of context? He took my words out of context and just wrote this down to 1965. First off, you keep talking about company time. Yes, he was on company time saying, your time is your time. What do you mean company time? When you log in and you punch in when you go to work, you on company time. Ain't no it's still your time. No, you on their time. If you clock in to work and you leave work and don't clock out and you get hurt, the company is responsible for that because you're on their time. They employ you. And when you clocked in, supposed to be working, for whatever time period that they're paying you for, you're on their time. It's not your time no more. So yes, there's a such thing as company time. And he is an employee of the San Francisco 49ers, and they are a team that is in the National Football League. So he is an employee paid to be on the field by the San Francisco 49ers. He's on company time. He's in the uniform. He's on the sideline, dressed out there with the rest of the team. And I said, if he wants to protest, do it on your own time. Meaning, you're at work. You want your boss to be okay with you protesting on the job. That's what I mean. He's getting paid by them. You brought up the sit-ins, and you brought up the bus, sit-ins on the bus and sit-downs in the restaurant. Let me tell you what happened at those restaurants. It wasn't about the restaurant being closed, them protesting. The people that sat down in those restaurants did not work in for the restaurant. The restaurant wasn't paying them to protest on the restaurant. The bus depot wasn't paying the bus riders. They didn't work for the company when they did the sit-ins on the bus. So they're not on the company's time. They're on their own time protesting. They don't work for the bus depot. And you make it look like that was the worst black people have ever had it, was back then. Man, they had to get the food from out the dog door. We were slaves. We were enslaved before. So we had it a lot worse than that. But yes, all of those conditions had to be fought for because it affected everyone. What Cap did was already highlighting something for his own personal benefit. He was never involved in anything. And what you're doing, Timmy, is you're projecting what you want Cap to be kneeling for. You're projecting that. You want him to be doing what you think in your mind he's doing it for. So you're projecting that to him, and that's how the liberals and all the fools get you. They get you walking down the Primrose path because you're projecting in your mind, this is what he's doing it for. No, he's not. He wanted out of San Francisco. He had lost his job to a ridiculous backup quarterback the year prior because he played like crap. He lost his job. Then he got hurt. And then he couldn't even play then. He would still be in the NFL. Probably not now, but he would have been there another year. He opted out of his contract with the 49ers at the end of the season. They didn't cut him at the end of the year. They didn't buy out his contract. Colin Kaepernick opted out of his contract at the end of the year. So the NFL didn't blackball him out. Well, they kind of did because they were like, look, we ain't letting him in on no other team. He out of here. But he opted out. So that tells you what he wanted to do. Get out of San Francisco. He was trying to do all of that before this all happened. So all of this stuff with the flag, that's what the other side is doing. They're making it all about policy and democracy and flag. And I can give a damn about all that because this ain't got nothing to do with that. It's got to do with what he was doing it for. He can come out and give you any little song and dance he wanted. And it's almost just bringing attention and thinking away. Because he wasn't taking a knee at first. He was sitting. Only when he talked with a soldier who told him he need to come up with another form of a way to express his attention to what he wanted, his cause. The thing is, being allowed to protest on someone else's property when you're there to work is not allowed anywhere. If you work for the government, you cannot put up anything political on who you want to vote for at your job. You know why? Because you own company time. And that's called a policy law. So you can't have Biden, you can't have Trump, you can't have no stickers nowhere on your job if you work for the government. No political affiliation can be posted on your office. It's going to go in the trash. Why? Because you cannot root or protest or promote something that could affect and cause a disturbance at the job. Now, what I'm saying, if Cap wanted to do it, if Cap held a press conference and said, I'm holding a press conference out here and I want to say I'm doing this, all this attention, and I want to do all this, he wouldn't have got anybody there. Why didn't he, if it's a protest, why didn't he go get the other brothers and organize? When you talked about the bus riots, when you talked about the restaurant sit-ins, do you know what the restaurant sit-ins, what they did? They didn't just walk in a restaurant and say, we're going to sit here and take it. They had to go through training camp, like boot camps. There's a lot of brothers and sisters who folded and cried and wanted to get up and fight. They had to deal with their own people, sitting them at a fake restaurant diner, pouring food and tomato sauce on them, calling them the N-word. They wanted to make sure the people didn't break. They were trained before they went in there and did that official sit down in the restaurant. They had to have the best of the best to go in there and take it and not fight back. To go in that restaurant and sit down. They had to be trained for that. That took organization and that took doing things the right way. He went out by himself and decided, I want to do this, because he was thinking for himself. Thinking the 49ers are going to get rid of me now. I'm being disruptive. They couldn't trade me. Now they're going to have to trade me. He wanted out. That's what it was all about. All of this is a dog and pony show, and you bought it full hook, line, and sinker, Timmy. Hook, line, and sinker. You misunderstood what I was saying. You making the thing, assuming that I'm defending the company. I can care less about the company. I'm calling it for what it is. I'm not projecting anything. I'm giving you the facts, and from the facts, telling you exactly what happened without the illusion and all the false propaganda people are putting in the way of it, making it about flags and policy and he taking a stand for the brothers. No, if Cap was serious, Cap could have got with the other brothers in the league, outside the league, in other sports, called a press conference, got all of them together. You think that wouldn't have gathered the world's attention? You think ESPN, Fox Sports, and everybody else wouldn't have been there had he got all the brothers together and assembled and said, we doing this because we want to make a stand for rights and, for the blacks that's, being murdered by the police and all that. Do you think if he would have said all that at a press conference, they would have just ignored it? It wouldn't have got any attention if he was organized and had brothers out there with him? That wouldn't have got no attention? That wouldn't have made Sports Center? The liberals saw him do that. They gave him a phone call, and one day, in about 24 hours, he was told to stop giving interviews. Have you know if Colin Kaepernick was really about all that? Where was he at speaking? Why is he so quiet? Everybody else was fighting for him. Everybody else was losing their job for him. Everybody else was putting their life on the line because they assumed this is what the brother was doing it for. And just our natural response when we see a black person being mistreated, we rally around them because that's exactly what's built in us. We know what it's like to be mistreated. So we want to rally around them. So I understood why the players was doing it. Hey man, they doing this dude wrong. They doing him wrong because of what he did. Now the league is racist. We know that, but so is all the leagues. But nobody wants to talk about that. That's a much bigger picture. But their racism was exposed when they tried to say, "How dare you, Colin Kaepernick?" And they went all out of their way to make an example of him. They end up making a fool out of themselves. And that's what ended up the only bright spot that happened in this whole thing was that the world got to see the racism exploited from the NFL. Front line and center. They broke every rule in the book to keep Cap out. Now, nobody gonna really talk about it, but Cap sucks. It's a quarterback, he sucks. He sucks. Real, he can't complete a routed pass. He can only run. He's a one-option read quarterback. He can't throw anybody open. He can't make an over-the-shoulder pass. What are we talking about? We're talking about a guy who was on his way out the league. He was about to be a backup. He's not an X and O's guy. He does not know plays like that. They had to run the pistol and about 3 other plays on offense because that's all he could run. He made it to the Super Bowl one year when they caught everybody off guard when Alex Smith got hurt and he came in, or they benched Alex Smith and brought him in. And they start running the same play over and over again, and couldn't nobody guess it or stop it or whatever, the pistol. But NFL teams get smarter the next year, and they calm things down. They got time to scout you. They had all these coaches who watch everything you do, and they made Colin Kaepernick have to pass, and he couldn't beat you with his arm. And people forget, he played that season. He got a chance to actually play the season after when he was doing his kneeling. He was playing. They decided to play him. The 49ers played him. And they said, well, Kaepernick was doing good. No, he wasn't. Only when they were losing the game would he actually get some offense going. He was not doing anything in those games to keep those teams in the game whatsoever. He was not dominating or playing well. He was getting garbage points in garbage time. Nobody wants to hear the truth. Everybody wants to believe the story. The story is much more attractive. Got him on magazines with black leather coats and black fists. Once I saw him do this, I said, that's it. I can't let this go on no more. This guy's a fraud. This guy was not there for no Trayvon Martin, nothing. He didn't care nothing. He was driving around in his low-top car overseas, cheating on his girls, doing all kind of dirty stuff. All he cared about being a fly boy, blowing money, going and sleeping with these girls on the internet. That's all he cared about. When Trayvon Martin, not one tweet, not one man. That's bad. He didn't care. He didn't give a damn. None of this stuff was going on. Marcus Brown, none of it. And y'all dog Jay-Z. Jay-Z was there at least. At least he met the parents. At least he was there. This dude was nowhere to be found. Then all of a sudden he has an epiphany. And everybody's rallying behind him like he's the hero and the savior. Come on. This savior who never spoke up for anything. Everybody else, man, why Cullen ain't doing this? Why Cullen ain't doing that? Did you forget the man took a deal? Everybody forget that. Cap took a deal. Sued the NFL and settled out of court. And agreed in part of the agreement, they can't even talk about it. Why would you agree to do that if you're making a stand for justice? What deal did you make that was beneficial in bringing awareness to anything that was going on? Then after that first season, he was saying he was willing to stand the very next year. Then he got to deal with Nike. He's got a Disney deal coming up, or a Netflix deal, one of them, about a story about this guy. And he's a fraud. This guy is a fraud. And they're making him walk this line. He's like, look at all the stuff he's been donating. He's been doing all these things here, and they won't give him an opportunity. And we want to rally behind him because we hate to see people get blackballed, because we know our whole life we've been blackballed just for our color. So when we see other people get blackballed, we rally around that. And they're taking advantage of our pain. And I'm not going to let people get away with that. Not with me. Deshaun Jackson never made a statement to recant. All he did was retweet something that was already posted and already in a book. All he did was make a retweet and post a tweet. That's it. He didn't even type the words. He just highlighted it with a marker. That's it. But the team he played for, because he's on company time, they made him apologize. But they didn't have that same type of sentiment when their players used the N-word. They gave him an extension and made Michael Vick stick up for him. Like, we gave you another chance, Vic. You got to go out here and make this Riley Cooper thing. You got to make this thing better. Oh, come on now. Coop's a good guy. He ain't mean nothing by it, everybody. Let's give him a chance. They gave me a chance, Philadelphia. And the people are just good people. Can't we all just get along? Cap was a scumbag when he played. He was a scumbag. Not only did he did that, he broke up with the girl that I know from U of I. She went out here to Illinois and was with him all while he was a struggling quarterback. Probably wasn't going to ever play in the NFL when he was on the 49ers. Wasn't getting any tick, wasn't getting any snaps even on the third team. He thought he was going to be out the league, having to get a regular job. He screwed her over once he started, and he started doing well, and they went to the Super Bowl and all that, and then he kicked her to the curb and got him a white girl. Kicked the sister out and got him a white girl. But this is your hero, right? Then he started banging all these chicks, going around, doing nothing, right? You know what they told me too? Malcolm X did that too. Though Malcolm X wasn't always Malcolm. You comparing this dude to Malcolm X. Oh my God. The internet, baby. See? It's left up to me to have to tell people the truth. Now, let's go even deeper on this. And Timmy Otto, I thank you. I'm sorry I didn't see it earlier. But I'm glad you're going to be able to see this video, and it's going to be delivered to you so you can see it. And I thank you for spending the time to try to reach me, but you were way off base. And plus, my family is also from Alabama. You follow Alabama. And we understand what it was like down there. My mom had to go through that before they made changes and sit-ins. And they didn't even know Like my family was so close knit. The kids, when they were growing up, they were shielded from all that. Like my parents, my grandparents, and them kept them shielded because they didn't know they couldn't go down to the front rows. In the movie theaters, the blacks could only sit in the balcony section. They wanted to sit up there anyway because it was popping up there. All the blacks is up there. They were having a great old time. They didn't know that it was whites only downstairs, blacks up top. They didn't even know that. They thought this is where it's always popping. I don't want to sit down there with them stiffs. Blacks to the back of the bus. They didn't even know that. They were my mom, them, they were kids. They went to the back of the bus because the back of the bus was live. The back of the bus was where everybody wanted to be. Nobody wanted to be in the front. But they didn't even know. Me and my mom was talking about that reason. She's like, we never really knew until like they went to a place like to use the bathroom, and they had coloreds and whites, and only down south still was that really a thing. Up north, it wasn't really like that. They had changed all of these things, like mostly up north. So when you see when you come up north and you see different things down south, they were still slow to the changes. And they got the colors, so they like, oh, what is this? Colored toilet, white toilet. So, they had to be told, hey, you go here, this the bathroom. You go here. But they didn't even understand because they were so young. But the families used to keep them, like away from it. We didn't know, like they didn't know that my grandparents, when they drove them down south, when they would pull over on the side of the road, they wouldn't go to the hotels because they didn't know that they were gonna run into racism and all these things at the hotel, or they wasn't even allowed to be in there. They just thought this is what we do. It's cool. Grandma cooked food, so ain't no need to stop in no restaurant to try to get no food and go through all the nonsense. We got food in the car. Chicken legs, boiled eggs, sodas. Only thing you stopping for is the bathroom. And you might do 2 stops because my grandfather only stopping for gas. And he'll get the gas, you get to stretch out for about 5-10 minutes, and everybody back in the car. I believe it. Colin Kaepernick is a farce. And he's never playing in the league again. And he doesn't deserve to. He wasn't a great quarterback. He wasn't even really deserving to be a backup. He had lost his starting job. They put him back in as quarterback. He wasn't winning any games. He really didn't know any plays. He couldn't he couldn't complete throws. So it's like what really are we debating? He went to the Super Bowl. Then they went to the champ. They had a stacked team. And they probably would have won the Super Bowl had they had a guy that could complete passes. He couldn't do it. They said, we gonna stop this pistol, and you gonna have to complete some passes. They had 2 weeks to focus on stopping Colin Kaepernick passing. The first touchdown wasn't his fault. That would have been Randy Moss's wide open touchdown. Had what's his name not jumped up there, Crabtree thought it was for him and jumped up and tipped the ball away from Randy Moss on the opening drive. Right, screwed up Patrick Willis and Randy Moss Super Bowl. Patrick Willis retired. Like, man, I'm out. I'm done. Left in his prime. Patrick Willis. Oh, we know about the woman that's under him. He's a chump. Ever since he dumped the sister and he got with this other chick, she been controlling his mind and making him do stuff. And he's trying to be something that he's not. He's a farce. I don't even want to have nothing to do with him at all. That's why I don't even mention him. I normally stay silent from him, and just when they mention him in the public or he do something, then fine, we'll mention him. Other than that, I don't deal with no Kaepernick. We got to stop falling victim to that. Oh, he donated 300 pairs of shoes for this. Then he did that. I mean, man, look, the devil do good deeds. I mean, you ain't finna win me over by doing these type of acts that somebody else is paying for, and they're using you as the doggone martyr. You ain't fooling me. You ain't buying my soul because you didn't gave Bill Gates been giving out money for how long? But how many people he been sitting over there injecting in Africa with the doggone virus? Oh, it wouldn't show how tone deaf the league is. It showed how racist the league is. That's what it showed. At least he did that. Yeah, I mean, this situation brought that out, but there's been plenty. Ray Rice's situation told you that. Man was 100% honest about everything, and the league was okay with all of it. Then they let the white kicker beat his wife almost to death, do the Pro Bowl and everything. She ran, and they put her in a whole nother hotel during the Pro Bowl. And he was drunk and whooping her continuously through all the years. Then they finally's like, all right, man, we're gonna have to get rid of the kicker. And they was mad they had to get rid of the kicker. The thing is that Cap he was never even a part of anything. You know what I'm saying? I could see if he was doing something on the side before this. You've never seen Cap do any type of acknowledgement talking about, oh, I heard about something that happened near here, and that's when it got my attention. Because he wasn't never around for no Trayvon Martin. Where was your empathy then? How could something that happened that close, one incident out there, that's gonna take your attention, but Trayvon Martin didn't get your attention? Marcus Brown didn't get your attention? That didn't touch your heart? You were trying to be a fashion model. You ain't give a damn. You ain't see Jay-Z, all them people marching in the street. You ain't give a damn then. Not a dollar was given by you. No attention, not a tweet, not nothing. Now you have an epiphany. Are we supposed to roll with you? Nope. Not with it. I am not with it. And let's talk about the other thing that they don't want to discuss. All the other side. Because yeah, the other side too, with this flag thing, you need to stop. I mean, really. It's time to cut that out now. Because now you're getting ridiculous. This has never been about the flag at all. None of it. Had nothing to do with the flag, had nothing to do with soldiers, it had nothing to do with any of that crap, okay? You guys want to do that because you're counteracting what's happening with the liberals and the whole thing. So this is your counterbalance. But it's foolery the way you guys are doing it, trying to make it all about being patriotic and The flag. You people don't even stand. You don't even know the damn national anthem. The president don't even know the damn national anthem. He knows, "Oh, say can you see," and then he's stuck. He don't know the damn national anthem. So he can care less about the national anthem, and neither do all you so-called patriotic people who try to put a flag up on the holiday, and then other than that, you know, all of a sudden you patriotic now. You had to run by a flag when the whole Kaepernick situation happened. You're phony, you're fake, stop it. We don't need it. Okay, it's nonsense. After talking to the veteran, he suggested that he do another thing. Cap came up with the knee idea on his own, but he suggested to Cap that he don't sit. That's disrespectful. So he stopped sitting and chose to take a knee. And the reason why, and I'm going to tell them that too, he decided to take a knee. And for all these people who claim they're patriotic, taking a knee is a sign of respect any place in the world. It's only one thing in this world that is universally recognized besides kneeling, and that's bowing. If you bow your head universally anywhere in the world, Africa, the jungle, anywhere in the world, bowing your head is universally accepted. If you take a knee anywhere, it is a sign of respect anywhere. Hell, General Zod said, "Kneel before Zod." When you taking a knee, you're submitting all power to the other person. So when someone takes a knee, they're basically surrendering. When someone take a knee, even in war, if they took a knee, they're saying, "Look, this is as non-attack and non-threatening as you're going to get." Standing is a sign of you can still attack. Standing on a knee is a sign of respect. When people get knighted, they're on their knees. It's universally respected. So we need to cut this nonsense out. It's fake. All of it. Both sides are being fake. And people ignore facts to fit their bull-it. So I hope you enjoyed this debate. Don't forget, we will return with more. And I enjoyed you guys all for being here live, Patreon people, and everybody on YouTube. Y'all guys will probably see it later. Those who were asleep, hope you enjoyed it. I had fun, and I hope Timmy learned something. Hope you learned, Timmy.